Okay. So today, basically what I'm going to try to do is to talk a little bit about, I know I'm fiddling around here, but I just want to remind all you guys, next week is the papers due, and basically what you should start thinking about is the prompt here on the syllabus. Welcome back, by the way. Hope you had a good, 3-day weekend and all that. Actually, it's 4 days. Anywho, just, I've had a lot of people talk to me about the topic, and pretty much there's a lot of stuff you could do on this topic here. I mean, if you find any internal problem in American history between the years of 1877 to 1945, any three, that's the biggest thing you want to do. Some examples of that are, well, I mean, there's so many ways you could go about that. You could go urban problems in the Gilded Age. You could talk about that. You could even talk about monopolies, like we talked about in the Progressive Era, the fight against monopolies, the fight against big business. You could go into social issues like racism. You could talk about Jim Crow laws, which basically affect African Americans in the South. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff you can do on this. I encourage each and every one of you, if you have a question about that, I'll be hanging around a little bit after class, like maybe after the quiz or something. Or if you want to email me, I'll be happy to talk with you. Okay? So just some things to remember about the paper. And let me go back to all this stuff that I'm doing. What you want to do is basically, by next Wednesday, you're going to have to, just remember this, you're going to email me the paper as well as the hard copy. So I'm going to ask you to just literally bring a copy with you that's printed out on your computer, as well as email me too, okay? But here's just some things to remember, and this is from last time. I think I went over this, but as you guys are starting to get your ideas together, there's a lot of things that you can do. On the website, on Blackboard, in the thought paper section, if you click on that, you will see something that says thought paper guidelines, and I think it says rubric. I'm not collecting that, however, it's just a way for you to organize your paper if you would like to. Again, not collecting that, but it's just a way for you to like figure out what you want to write about and then how to take it to the next level. In a few moments, perhaps I can do a little something on the computer real quick and kind of give you some ideas. I don't know. You only need to use the book for your source. You don't have to go do a whole bunch of outside research here. You're not looking for outside websites or anything. We're only looking for your sources, like from the book. So we'll talk about that in a few moments. Number 3, thesis. There's a lot of people that have a lot of interesting ideas about how to write a thesis statement. But what we want to do is we want to try for you guys to answer the question in the first paragraph somehow. Whether it's at the beginning of the first paragraph or at the end of the first paragraph. Like, I don't really care. It has to be somewhere there in the first paragraph to tell the reader, which is pretty much me, what your thesis is, okay? I still have students every semester that like don't give me a thesis statement, like they don't answer the question. And a good thesis statement gives a good direction to your paper. Like if the prompt is, what are the 3 most important problems in American history and how have those problems been dealt with? Come right out and say it, it's like Jerry Maguire, show me the money, just give it to me. I don't even, just slap me in the face with it, right there. It's like, I want to know what you're going to talk about. What are your 3 problems, and have those problems been solved in a good way, And, to be honest with you, I'm not concerned about how perfect, it's worded. I just want to make sure that you have a direction in your paper there in the first paragraph. If you're going to give me 3 problems that America needs to solve, please stick it up in there in the first paragraph. Gotta see it, all right? Introducing your 3 reasons. If you pick Jim Crow laws, if you pick urban problems in the 1890s, if you pick the Gilded Age, the gap between the rich and poor, those are your 3 problems, that's fine. Your thesis should say, these are the three most important problems in American history from 1877 to 1945, and they have been dealt with in different ways. That would be a good thesis statement right there. Or you could say, they have been all solved in different ways, or they have been solved perfectly by the U.S. government, which is of course not true. The government never solves anything. Well, maybe they do, I don't know. I guess they try to. But you know, that's what the paper's all about. It's about you giving me your thoughts, evaluating the problems and how well America has solved those problems. Very big, very big, very big, very big. Number 5. 3 to 4 pages total, double spaced. Please just give me paper. You know, look at the style guide when in Blackboard to see how the paper should look. I don't want, you know how people turn in those, I don't know, they're like folders with like clear binders and like, don't waste money on that. Yeah, Pat, that's not cool. Like binders like that, no. Just give me the paper, staple it, you know, and don't give me like crazy weird fonts either. Just 12-point fonts like this. Like this right here, this is like Helvetica. Helvetica is like awesome because you can read it. No crazy old English gangster lettering, you know, like it says Fresno State or something, you know, like none of that. Sorry. Emailed and hard copy, please. No late work accepted. And you guys, just there's a couple things to just. I would feel so stupid if I didn't at least say this. So bear with me as we go through. But I'm just going to open up like a new Word document real quick and copy this, and just, you know, let's talk about different ways to cite sources, because what you're going to need to have is, another thing is between 6 and 8 MLA citations, which is basically, you know, parenthetical citations. You're only going to have one source because it's the book, the textbook, right? So you are going to have a works cited page. I still have people sometimes that turn in like no works cited at all. Okay. So ways to incorporate stuff into your paper. I don't know if these are helpful tips, but I'm a valedictorian. I know it was from Roosevelt High School. Maybe that doesn't mean nothing, but hey, whatever. Fresno Pacific. I learned how to write papers really good. Maybe the knowledge that I give you guys today maybe might help. Maybe some of you are already good at this, and you don't have to listen, I guess. But let me just talk about ways to cite sources. Okay, so what I always tell people is, if you're going to use 6 and 8, between 6 and 8 pieces of information from the book, what I talk about is a difference between general and specific information. Like if I say in class, I say something like, the Progressive Era took place between 1900 and 1920. Yeah, pretty much that's what's called general information. A lot of people know that. Most people would agree with me on that. It's widely known. But if I say, and I'm just making this up, in 1902, President Roosevelt broke up 42 trusts. Well, maybe not in 1902. Between the years of 1900 and 1909, President Roosevelt broke up 42 trusts. That's something that is not widely known. Could the average American even tell you that? Of course not. So that's what I tell people is, like, if you're going to use a specific citation, you're going to want to start to look at What's a citation? Like specific, God dang it, specific facts, such as numbers, years, amounts, stuff like that. And that's the part that you're going to want to cite. Like, let's take my example, and I'm just making this up. The author of your textbook is Brinkley, right? And let's say I found this on Brinkley, page 435. Okay, cool. And the original quotation was, as he wrote it, President Roosevelt broke up 42 trusts in his time in office from 1901 to 1909. Okay, so that's exactly how it's quoted. Now, it's not really in there, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm just giving an example, okay? So, what are a couple ways that I could take this quotation and change it around so that I don't plagiarize it? Because plagiarizing is an academic sin. It's no-no, like you'll burn in the academic pit of hell if you do it, which is like not good. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we give credit to the source, right? If we're going to use that quotation. So there's a couple ways you can do it, right? Do you know what it's called when you change the words around to make it yours? All right, so it's called paraphrasing. How come it changed fonts? I don't care. Paraphrasing. Let's say I just want to doctor this up. I want to make it, I want to use this information, but I don't want to directly copy it and stuff because that's not cool. So basically what I'm going to do is I'll change it around. There's so many ways you could do this, and I got really good at this as a student, so you feel me? All right, here we go. In Roosevelt's presidency, he was able to break up, I'm getting good at this now. He was able to break up 42 trusts from the years of 1901 to 1909. No, oh crap. All right, cool. So, have I plagiarized anything? You better say no. Like, right, I mean, I've used the information, but I haven't directly quoted it. But the next thing is I got to make sure I give Brinkley credit because Brinkley, wrote the book, right? So I'll put author and page number. There you go, just like that. And there's another way to do it. I could do this. This is so cool. This is called introducing the direct quote. This is the method I use sometimes. And this is cool because you can totally use the quote. You can be like, according to Brinkley, right? And then you just copy and paste this son of a gun. Kind of do that, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of do that. My wife is so much better at this than me, like word processing skills. According to Brinkley, President Roosevelt broke up 42 trusts in his time of office. Now, do I need to put Brinkley in the parenthetical citation at the end? Oh, why is that? Because he's already there. Look at him. He's just looking right at you. He's already there. Right? Okay. That's what I'm saying. I would say to you guys, if you're going to use direct quotations, try to do one of those two methods. A lot of the times what I see sometimes with papers is that students put you should only, they put way too much information and then quote it. It's like the whole paragraph is quoted from the book, and I'm like, oh no, that's not cool. If I ask you to have 6 to 8, between 6 and 8, that means 6, that means 7, that means 8, bless you. Just remember, think direct quotations, think amounts, think years, think specific stuff. that is not common knowledge. And sometimes that's tricky. I admit that. But think about that when you guys are writing your paper. You know, if one of your problems is like the Gilded Age, and you're talking about the fact that there wasn't adequate sanitation system, maybe Brinkley talks about in New York City, for example, there were X amount of this, you know, or X amount of people that died because of a lack of sanitation. You know, that's the part I can't really tell you what to do with. You just have to figure out what is specific knowledge, what are specific quotations and stuff that I can use, okay? And, you know, there's a lot of ways to, in the paper, you know, let's just do this real quick. Let's talk about this, then we'll get into World War I in a second. But your paper should look roughly like this, right? You're gonna have a thesis, and in the first paragraph. So if you guys would like me to, I can easily just save this and post it if you want. Would you like that? Oh yeah, of course you would. Don't even try to lie, you want that. All right, first paragraph, got your thesis statement, and you're introducing, how you doing? You're introducing your 3 reasons in the first paragraph. So the first paragraph is going to be fairly short, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be like 5-6 sentences. And then, you know, you've got the body, which is basically like reason number 1, reason number 2, reason number 3, right? And here, after the reasons here, here's where you're going to want your specific information. You're going to want to go more in depth. It's pretty simple. Specific information there, you're going to want to sprinkle a little specific information here, and so on and so forth, right? When it's all said and done, you are going to have between 3 and 4 pages, and it is going to be double spaced. And at the very end, you want to end the paper, you want to have a conclusion, and your conclusion, I always tell people this, and it's written there on the guide too, but I'll just tell you. The conclusion is pretty much, what were the most important conclusions you reached from researching this paper? Okay? And that could take a lot of different shapes. Like what were some new things that you learned? What were some things that came out of your research? And that sort of thing. So in a lot of ways, if you keep this pretty simple and kind of keep an outline in mind, I think that's a good start. So just start thinking about it. If you'd like to, again, I'm recording myself right now. I'll just put a YouTube link on Blackboard, and you can check it out on your own speed. How's that? See, it's the 21st century, right? Hey, yeah. Isn't that awesome? Okay, so I encourage each and every one of you, I bless all of you guys in the way that I should, just to try it. If you have questions, email me, and I'll be happy to respond to you within a reasonable amount of time. Not a big deal, okay? Are there any questions that I could answer before we commence? Yes?
For example, we couldn't find enough information in the textbook regarding the area that we chose to investigate. Will you use outside sources?
Just check with me first, okay? I don't need you to do a big, I just want to make that blanket statement, but that's a great question. Yeah, if for whatever reason you're like struggling, usually people don't, so you should be able to find enough stuff. I'm not even worried about it. I ain't even mad. Who said that anyway? Richard Sherman? He was mad though. All right, guys. So basically, there you go. Just real quick, and there's all the thought paper stuff that I just shared with you. Again, what I'll do is I'll cut and paste that little part of the video there, and I can put it on Blackboard for you, and you can access it. Okay, just real quick, some other progressive era highlights just from last time, stuff that you should, any self-respecting American